A Delta flight attendant disappeared after leaving work at LaGuardia Airport. Her family and friends have been desperately trying to find her. Joining us this afternoon is Sierra's mother and father, Donna and Christopher Shields, and her sister, Joy. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Ms. Shields, when is the last time you spoke with your daughter?
I spoke with her briefly on the morning of the 14th, Thursday the 14th.
Now, and what was her state of mind? What did she sound like to you?
It seemed like something was on her mind. We spoke daily. Sierra spoke to her father, myself, our sibling daily. So, but something seemed different.
And you talked to her that morning. When did you next try to get in touch with her and realized you weren't able to contact her?
That afternoon. I knew she was due to fly out, and we weren't able to get in touch with her prior to that.
I know this is it's stressing you out. It must be difficult to have a child and not knowing where they are for a mom.
It is very, very difficult.
So, Christopher, you guys live in the Chicago area, and so for how many days before you realized, wait a minute, something's wrong here? We can't get in contact with her. We got to go and figure out what's going on with our child.
I think it was probably that Friday that we realized something wasn't right, and that she did not work the day before, on that Thursday. So once I knew that, as I got home, I just simply said, I'm going to New York, and drove here starting Friday evening, got here Saturday afternoon.
And what did you find when you got here? You went to her apartment, I take it?
Well, I know my oldest daughter was here, and at that time when I got here, there were several things that had taken place as far as friends of Sierra and my daughter, and them having called the police to try and see if they could file a missing persons report and things like that. But when I first got here, first thing that we did was went to Port Authority at LaGuardia to see what route or what could happen as far as her having gone missing there.
Where she might have, whether she may have gone somewhere, flown somewhere else or something of that sort?
So, more so just to see who would be willing to take that case at that time. And thankfully with the Port Authority, they were very, very helpful, extremely helpful, because they did listen, and we explained to them all of the things that took place, and that this is strange and unusual. And they said, well, we think you have a case for missing persons. And then that's when they called the precinct for Astoria, and we went by there.
Okay. And Joy, so you were here, and you got some friends together. You guys started looking for your sister. What did you do, and what did you find?
Well, that Thursday, I flew out, and she wasn't at her apartment, so I just kind of left a note and said, hey, I'm coming to visit, and I figured, she was flying and doing an overnight, and I would see her the next day. And one of her roommates Facebook messaged me and said, she's not here right now. And then that next morning is, it was like, okay, she's not back. Okay, what's going on? And then it was contacting her job, and then realizing that she hadn't flown before, or flown that previous day, and we realized that there was something wrong.
Yeah.
What do you think? You said to me, Ms. Shields, that she didn't sound like herself. Something was not right.
Yes.
Any idea what had been bothering her? Had she been troubled in the days prior to that? What made you think something was troubling her? And what do you think may have happened?
She was not her normal self. She is normally just happy. And the tone of her voice, I just knew something was wrong. I didn't know what.
wasn't the child that you normally speak to.
Yes.
Was there any indication that friends, Joy, have, any more information about how she'd been in the days leading up to this? Had she talked about any plans to?
Not really. Her roommates had been traveling a lot because of the holidays, so people were kind of missing each other. So there wasn't really anything except that intuition that something's not right. And I think if you know a family member well, like you truly know, then you know when something's not right. And you're like, okay, let me go and let me figure out what's wrong. What's wrong. So for me, when I called my mom, I said, I just want to look at her. I just want to look her in the eye. I just want to make sure she's okay. And what we found out is that Friday that she went to LaGuardia, she spoke to her supervisor briefly. She asked for a union rep, and then she disappeared. That's what we know.
And I understand there was some misinformation. There were some reports that she had quit her job.
Right.
Christopher, that's not quite the truth.
Yeah. It's one of those, I think people are making an assumption because someone turned in her equipment that, quote, quit her job. But by the mere fact of, as her supervisor has stated, she referenced the union rep, which she said Sierra would fully understand the process of being able to terminate. And so she said, you can't really say she quit.
When you say she turned in her equipment,
Yes.
what?
That would be like her badge, her flight manual, things that the flight attendants need in order to even be on the plane. So
She turned all that in?
yes, she turned that in.
Okay.
And it's one of those, we're still trying to discover what that really is all about. We don't really know. At this point, we really don't know if that was her intent to quit, as Amy said.
Did credit cards, her wallet, keys to the house, those kinds of things, identification, is that missing also, or were those things left at her home?
Those items were left at her home. She had been studying. She's in grad school, earning her master's degree. And her roommate said it looked like she just left out in a hurry. Sierra's very organized. Her books were open, and they thought she had just run out real quick and was coming back. And we just don't know.
And the investigation, are police telling you that it's moving along? Are you satisfied with how that's being handled, or you can be honest? I see you seem reluctant to.
Well, because it is our child, you always say there could be more done.
Yes.
And I understand, in the whole light of all of this is that so many people go missing. It's really shocking to hear that like 2,500 people go missing every day. That's a huge number.
Yeah.
And, but for us, even in that number, there's one who's really important to us, and that's Sierra being missing.
You have a Facebook page that you are, I guess you're putting out information about Sierra, facebook.com/find Sierra Shields. And anybody with information can go to that page and see if there's anything that they may recognize her and they have piqued their memory or thought.
Yes.
And we're going to be sending out thoughts and prayers for you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you in your search, and please keep us posted.
Thank you.
Up next, Shark Tank.